Hey, what's up? This your man Cartercash. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Cartercash23. But right now, I'm here to bring you my prediction for the May 4th fight between Robert the Ghost Guerrero and Floyd Money Mayweather at the MGM Grand Casino live May 4th. This is going to be a big fight. This is going to be an electric fight. It's going to be a great fight all around for both parties. It's an opportunity for Robert Guerrero to display his talent and show that he deserves to be on this stage. In his last fight with Andre Berto, he showed to the world and to me and the world that he had the talent and the ability to fight on this level and be on the stage of stages on pay-per-view. You got Floyd Mayweather coming off his fight a year ago after his stint in jail, to show that he still has what it takes. His last fight with Miguel Cotto, some say that he showed age. He showed that he may be losing a step. The reflexes slowed down. He said it was a deep performance that he can capitalize on and get better from. Coming out the gate with the fight, I see that the Guerrero camp wants to apply pressure on Floyd Mayweather and try to put him in vulnerable positions where throughout the later rounds maybe he could break down or you could find some cracks in the armor of Floyd Mayweather. Ultimately, I find that to be very difficult, to put a guy of that caliber in a position that he's never been in, being that he's from a boxing family. He grew up in the gym, with a uncle that's been a world champion, a father that's been in boxing for many, many years. To put a guy like this in a position that he's never been in the ring, I find it very difficult to do, across the board. I mean, what can you really show a guy that's been around the game of boxing, 8-time world champion in 5 different weight classes? You really think you're going to put him in a position that he's never seen before? Good luck. For me, I believe Robert Guerrero should come out, be a smart fighter. Not try to outthink Floyd. That's very difficult to do, but to your best of your ability. Use your jab. In the past, people have been able to frustrate Floyd with their jab, and able to find holes in, the Philly shell, what they call it, Mayweather defense. They've been able to find holes in that, Oscar De La Hoya coming out his fight with Floyd, when he used his jab, he was very successful. He's very successful, but that also leaves the opportunity to be counterpunched by one of the best counterpunchers, not just in boxing, but in history. He's one of the best that ever done that. And that ultimately, allowed the fight with Oscar, caused him to put the jab back in the holster. You worried more about the counterpunch than you trying to dictate the fight. But I think that's the best way for Robert Guerrero to go. I believe that if he runs up, tries to apply pressure and be relentless and putting pressure on him and not thinking, he's going to ultimately take a lot more punishment and get hit with some things that he may not have accounted for or, may not have just prepared for. This is, like I said, a guy with Floyd Mayweather. He's a grandmaster of chess within the ring. This is a thinking man's game. They call it boxing because it's not fighting. It's chess with gloves on. And if you don't come prepared to be a thinker in the ring, you're going to get exposed. He's going to find whatever your weakness is. Floyd Mayweather will find it. His greatness is that he has the ability to adjust and adapt on the fly within the fight. Can't say many guys that have that ability. For Floyd, I look for him to come out with the Floyd of old. Now that his father's back in his corner, I look for him to be using his jab, back on his jab. Defense first, safety first, protecting himself first, and capitalizing on all the mistakes. Being a patient Floyd that is going to frustrate you. He's going to frustrate you. You're going to miss shots. You're going to it's going to be a thinking game, and it's going to be a slow paced fight, I believe. And it's going to force Robert to become impatient and make mistakes, and that's ultimately Floyd Mayweather's game. Do I see the fight being stopped or do I see it going the distance? I believe that it's going to be up to Robert Guerrero to dictate that. If he decides that he wants to continue to put pressure on Floyd throughout the fight, despite how the rounds are going, like Ricky Hatton, I believe he could be stopped in somewhere between 8 and 10. I believe he'd be stopped. Going to the scorecard is ultimately, how do you want to fight? How do you want to take this fight on? Floyd, he's a master of the point system. He doesn't have to knock a guy out. He's there to get his check, take his least amount of punishment as possible and go to the bank and cash in on it. You look at Juan Manuel Marquez as a guy who Floyd could have stopped, but Marquez decided to just be safe, go home. He understood that he was overmatched. He decided to take the safe route out and, protected himself from getting knocked out. Even though Floyd wanted to press for the knockout, he protected himself. But I look for it to be a tough fight for both parties. I look for both guys to bring their best to the table, and ultimately, it's going to be who decides who wants it more. And with Floyd Mayweather, he showed that he has. He's not a champion. He's not where he's at by accident. If you look at his last fight with Miguel Cotto gave him a very tough fight. He gave him a very physical fight. And in the 12th round, you seen Floyd bite down on his mouthpiece and showed that, you know what, I'm a champion. I'm a warrior. I'm a pit bull. This is what I do. This is what I was born to do. And he's not a pushover. People see the money, they see the cars, they see the flash and flamboyance and think, oh, you can put pressure on him and you can beat him. And, it's not a soft fight. This guy is a champion for a reason. No one's beating him for a reason. You got to be able to take this guy and almost, I want to say, beat him at his own game, which is a daunting task. But you're not going to beat him by doing what the last 43 guys have tried to do. That's for sure. But and Robert Guerrero is a guy that you can't underestimate. This is a guy that if you underestimate, you could be put in a position where you'd be like, well, what the hell just happened? He displayed some things against Andre Berto that many didn't even know he was capable of doing. He shut both this guy's eyes. And from bell to bell came to fight. So this is definitely a guy that you can't underestimate. So in that right, if the best Floyd Mayweather doesn't show up, he can be beat. So that's why I look forward to be a great fight. I look forward to be an exciting fight. But if you're a betting man, like myself, I'm betting the money on Floyd Money Mayweather. He hasn't messed my money up yet. He's going to bring his best to the table because anybody that changed his name to Money, and definitely about that money. I don't think he want to mess his bank up, so I'm betting with that guy. But on another note, shout out to my guy Jalen Love, holding down Detroit. He's fighting on the undercard. I look for him to come out on top on his fight too. He's doing his thing, man. Holding it down for the city of Detroit, man. Detroit putting boxing back on the map. It's coming back too. But with that being said, Cinco de Mayo this weekend. It's going to be an electric event. Everybody have fun. Have safe fun. Be sure to follow me. Hit me up at Cartercash23 on Instagram, on Twitter. Master the Craft Entertainment on YouTube. Be sure to rate, comment, and look at our videos. Check them out. Tell me what you think. And everybody enjoy the fight this Saturday.